This is the YoloBox ULTRA, the latest model from Yololiv. Let's take a look at some of the new features in this device. I first want to start with some of the physical differences of this device. You'll notice right at first that there are 4 HDMI inputs. That means you can connect 4 cameras or 2 cameras, a laptop, and an iPad. 4 different HDMI sources can come in. There's still an HDMI out, but now there's 2 USB-A ports. There's also a USB-C port on the bottom. It is slightly larger than the YoloBox Pro, but other than that, it's about the same physically. There's still a line and mic input, there's a headphone jack out, and a USB-C port for charging. You can connect an LTE SIM, an SD card, and then there's the power button. There's also a 1/4-20 mount thread on the bottom for attaching it to a tripod or other mounting equipment. But let's get this down on the table and connect some cameras to it so we can actually try it out. Another major difference with the YoloBox ULTRA is that the CPU is a massive upgrade from the Pro. This is using the Qualcomm 865 CPU internally, which is a huge performance boost compared to the 660 that's in the YoloBox Pro. If we take a quick look at the specs comparing the new ULTRA to the Pro, you can see that it's got a few other differences as well. Brighter screen, more inputs. We'll get to some of the other more fun features in a minute, but the CPU is a massive upgrade. 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigabytes of ROM internally compared to the 3 gigs of RAM in the Pro. One of the other big differences is that this now includes vertical streaming as well. If we go back out of here and go to the main page, when you go and create a new event, you get the option of doing either horizontal like the YoloBox Pro or vertical like the InStream. Now it looks just like the InStream device with vertical mode, and now you'll have to turn all your cameras around as well. And again, with this mode, you of course still have the ability to use overlays, add graphics, bring in countdown timers, play back videos from SD cards, and switch camera angles, all for your Instagram or TikTok live streams. Another new feature they added in this model is the ability to actually load apps from an app store. So there is a little app store where you can actually load apps that are not in that original list and bring them into the Yololiv ULTRA for even more platforms where you can stream vertically. Another massive upgrade from the YoloBox Pro is that this now actually supports 4K inputs. Most of my cameras are connected to 1080, but I can actually now change this into 4K mode, and I do have one of my cameras connected over in 4K. This is a 4K signal, and it's receiving it just fine, just like any other camera. It is nice that you can mix and match 4K inputs and 1080 inputs, so you don't have to worry about matching all of your camera resolutions. In addition to adding 4K streaming, they also added support for encoding in H.265. This is a much more compressed version of a video stream. It can do a surprisingly good job compressing the video without losing any quality. Actually, what I've been doing with filming these videos is I've actually been recording these in H.265 for editing, because it just makes the file sizes so much smaller and easier to send around online. Another great new feature that's supported in the YoloBox ULTRA is streaming via SRT. You can now add an SRT source in addition to RTMP. And actually with the SRT encoding, you get the option of sending your program video or any of your connected inputs. Another massive new feature a lot of people were asking for is the ability to do ISO recording. That means recording each additional camera angle as well as the main program feed that you're switching. So if I scroll over here to the new Record tab, this is where I can configure all of my recording options. I can choose whether to record the program, which I probably would want to do. That'll include the graphics, any overlays, any fading, transitions, that kind of thing. But I can now also enable recording separate video files for any of the inputs selected. You can choose your recording resolution, whether you want to record a 720 or 1080 or a 4K version. So if you do have any 4K cameras connected, you can record a 4K feed of those cameras. You can choose the frame rate and bit rate of your recording, and you can even choose the encoding format. You may want to, for example, record H.265, which will result in much smaller file sizes. You might already be familiar with the settings, recording limits, and storage settings. These have now moved to this tab. They used to be in the settings tab. So this is where you can choose how big you want the files to be. And the storage settings is whether to choose to record onto the SD card or a portable USB drive connected. So now I've got it set up to record the program feed at 1080, but record a 4K feed of just HDMI4, which is my 4K camera that's connected. And now if I tap the little record button in the corner, this is going to show me what's going to be recorded, and I can hit start. Now as I'm recording, and I can switch camera angles for the program feed, and then the ISO feed of HDMI4 should be recorded as a separate file onto the SD card. In addition to connecting cameras over HDMI and USB webcams, you can also now add NDI sources. Now the NDI feature is still in beta, but I can give you a quick demo of how it works. When you go down to add a video source, you can choose NDI, And now any NDI devices on your network will appear here. So I'll go ahead and launch the Shoot webcam app, turn on the NDI feature. And now if I look at the YoloBox, it's showing the video from my phone. If I go ahead and choose that, then the video from my phone appears on the YoloBox now. As you can see, I can just go ahead and use my iPhone as a wireless camera now directly into the YoloBox over NDI. It's a pretty exciting new feature, and I'm really glad to see that support. The NDI feature also works the other direction. If you go into the settings, you can also enable NDI output. And again, you can choose whether you want to be your program or one of the individual sources. So I can go ahead and enable that. And now over on my Magewell Pro Convert, I do have the option to bring in the YoloBox video in the Magewell. This monitor is showing the NDI output from the Magewell Pro Convert. And as I'm switching camera angles on the YoloBox, you'll see that that NDI feed updates on that monitor over there. One of the other nice things about the new powerful CPU is that they actually were able to fix one of my pet peeves about the USB audio input in the previous version of the YoloBox Pro. I can now go ahead and connect a USB microphone to the YoloBox. In this case, we'll connect the Rode Wireless Go over USB. And now, unlike on the Pro, I can actually enable USB audio from a webcam, from a microphone, and mix it with HDMI audio. Previously, the limit was you could either use USB audio or you could mix audio from HDMI. And now you can actually combine them all together. And that is a great example of the things that they're able to do now with the additional, more powerful CPU in the YoloBox Ultra. Other than that, all the features that you found in the YoloBox Pro also still exist here. You still have the graphic overlays, you still have the network bonding feature, you have the ability to invite guests, scoreboard, auto switching cameras, show comments from platforms when you're streaming, and you can even switch this into vertical mode. So that is the quick what's new in the YoloBox Ultra. I hope this video has been helpful. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.